Oh, sorry. Hi, everyone. Soul Tribe Huddle, 17th of July, 2019, and we are blessed to have the beautiful Denise Ambrose with us tonight. It's my connection, yeah, sorry. Denise has been so inspirational for me on my journey. She is a 24 club NMD, and I have been watching her grow and learning so much from her. I know that you've jumped on our team before a long time ago, Denise, so I really had to invite you because we're all at a similar stage. So I'm just going to give you the floor. I would love you to share a little bit about your story. Tell everyone.
I think they know I'm here, but I got rid of my face.
Hi, Cheryl.
Hi.
Nice to see you, honey. Okay, I'm going to spotlight you, Denise, because you deserve to be spotlighted.
Oh, there I am. I still can't quite. Thank you so much, Tans, for that beautiful introduction. And I still can't get used to the title NMD 24. But just, it just doesn't it still seems surreal, I have to say. So for those of you who don't know my story, and the funny thing is that the last time I was on your training, I was down in Tasmania visiting my mum. And I just got back yesterday from visiting my mum in Tasmania, so it must be like a cyclical thing. But I'll probably fill you in a bit more about that later on as well, which sort of comes into my story. So for those of you who don't know my story, I have got 3 grown-up kids, and they live in Hobart, Brisbane and Townsville. So over in Australia, that's pretty much as fast bred as you can get on the east coast of Australia. Mum's down in Tasmania, and my fiancé Greg's parents are up in Mareeba up north, so our family's super spread out. And I was a high school teacher. I taught health and physical education for 30 years in 4 different states and dragged the family around with me as I went. And sort of the most recent chapter of that, we were up in the Northern Territory, right up the top of Australia, and Greg, my then partner, now fiancé, lost his job as the refinery was closed down. 1,100 people actually lost their jobs out of a town of 4,000 people. So it was pretty devastating for everyone. And we moved to another mining town. Well, it's kind of a boom and bust town called Gladstone on the east coast. And not long after we got here, Greg was made redundant once again because it was in a cycle of bust, not boom. So a lot of jobs were getting axed, and his was one of them. I was teaching at a local high school here, and that was all fine. And I had that job. It was a government job, and I was guaranteed to have that job till I fully retired in another 8 years' time. And totally out of the blue, I saw an ad on Facebook, much like some of you may have seen. I'm not sure how you came into the business, but I came into it totally randomly. And I saw this post, and I didn't think that I was looking for something, but I guess I must have been, because number one, Greg was going to be home 8 years while I still went to work, and I just wanted to spend more time with him. Number two, I was getting a bit disillusioned with teaching, to be honest. The kids' behaviour was getting far worse. They seem to be so entitled these days, and even the parents, they're attacking teachers, and it's just not as fun a profession as it used to be. So I didn't think I was looking for something, but I guess I was looking for an alternative. And I just tiptoed, first of all, dipped my toe in and treated this like a hobby. And I still just kept teaching full time. And about 8 months into my journey, I got totally addicted to this. I got juice plus brain damage, and I couldn't think about anything else. So I thought, maybe this could be the vehicle that gets me to retire early. And I just made a decision. So that was April 2017. I joined the business at the end of September 2016. And in April, I just made the decision that I was going to make this my plan A instead of my plan B. And so I went to work. And I have to say, it was an exhausting year. I had 2 Year 12 classes. I think you go up to Year 13 in New Zealand, but we finish at Year 12 here, and that's, the last year. And the kids just, they get a number that defines what they can do next. So it's really important that I was on in that game as well. I couldn't drop my teaching ball. But every other hour that I was meeting my teaching responsibilities, I was working on my business. And that meant my lunch breaks, it meant before school, it meant as soon as I left school, it meant I wasn't getting to bed till 11 o'clock at night, which was really handy because I was taking Juice Plus, so I had the energy to do that, whereas before I was falling asleep at 7:30 in the chair in front of the TV. And it was just that I had such a clear goal that I really wanted to make this my plan A. And I had a definite date to finish that job, which was the 8th of December, 2017. So I knew that I had to build this to a certain point that I could just walk away on that date and have replaced my full-time teaching income. So I'm very happy to say that happened. It was not without a lot of pain. It was not without a lot of tears. But yeah, I was so determined to make that happen. And I have to say that I also initially took 12 months leave without pay because Tanya sent me some questions, and it was about, how did you overcome the fear of deciding when it was time to retire? And I hadn't quite got to that point. So I actually took 12 months leave with the option to go back in case this didn't work out. And then in June last year, I was called into school to state my intentions of what was going to happen in 2019. So I was coming back to school. And I was going to tick, I have to be honest, I was going to tick the other box that said another 12 months leave. And one of the other teachers came in and he said, "What are you doing here?" And I said, "Oh, I'm deciding whether to resign or take 12 months leave." And he said, "You'll be back in 12 months anyway, so why not just do it now?" And I went, "You're right." So I went, resign, and burnt that bridge, or burnt the boat that took me to the beach, as the saying goes, and then you just go, there's no turning back. I've got to make this thing work. And now I'm really happy to say that I actually do go back and do the odd day of teaching as a hobby, totally on my terms. I can go back and catch up with the kids and catch up with the people I used to teach with. And I walk in and I walk out without all the hassles, the pressure, the report writing, the behaviour management stuff, and I always did love teaching. And I still get to do that. So that's kind of my story in a nutshell, I guess.
So I love that. I actually really love that you just went for it and did it anyway, because I did wonder if you had a plan and you had a date, because I know, we always talk about when we're setting a goal that we have to have a time frame and we've got to have that date. And I know how many goals that I've set in my life and I haven't quite achieved them. So were you afraid that you weren't going to achieve that?
No, actually, I wasn't afraid at all. I was just determined it was going to happen. Like I just knew, and I actually did a countdown. Greg had a calendar here as part of my vision board, and every single Monday I'd tick it off and go how many Mondays were left until I finished my full-time job. And it just, because it was so clear and so focused that I knew that was the date and it was going to happen.
Yeah, I love that. So that certainty for you was really strong. It was really big.
Very, very strong.
And do you think that's what's kept you going?
Yeah, 100%. I'm just so clear on my belief in every part of what I do. So our products, are second to none. I've just seen so many people's lives transformed, including people on here. So many of my customers, my family, us in particular. When I first made the decision to turn this into something bigger, it was because we got the results back from Greg's cholesterol that had been going up for 10 years and nothing had worked. And the doctors were threatening to put him on drugs that we'd researched and didn't want him to be on. So my belief in the product from that day forward was super strong, and I felt it my obligation to share the products with everyone I cared about. And that made it really, really easy to share the products with other people because I had such strong belief in them and had heard so many stories. The belief in our company, 2.5 years in, it's still beyond me how generous they are, how much they care about every single one of us. They put everything in place for us to succeed. Back in the home office, they just have our backs every step of the way. This industry, the network marketing industry, you have to be ready to take the punches with that, because there's still people that don't understand what this is, and there's still people that don't see this as a profession. They saw teaching as a noble profession, but they saw this as, I've been scammed. Some of my long-term friends especially, and still some of my long-term friends don't like any of the posts that I do. They don't comment on stuff, and I'm okay with that. That's fine. One day they might, or they might not, and that's fine too. They're on their own journey. They're on their own path. My belief in people are good. My belief in our team, coming on a call like this just absolutely fills my heart. This makes what I do even more enjoyable because I get to connect with you guys on screen and at conference. I have to say that, at conference it's beautiful to see everyone, but you just don't have that time because it's so rushed and furious and fast that you kind of don't do that. But how lucky are we that we have this technology that allows us to connect at any time that we want to?
I know.
I don't know if that answered your question.
Absolutely. How lucky are we that you said yes to this? So thank you. And that's what one of the big reasons why I love you is you have such a big heart, Denise, you know, and you always go out of your way for anybody to help anybody. So I do love that about you. And I know you talked before about how much passion you had for the product. And I know that you are a rock star customer attractor, right? You know, you were always getting like the top customer acquisition of the month. I mean, you know, like 15, you know, customers and massive. So, you know, for anyone, because I know that some of the team here do find customers, you know, challenging. So tell me, give us your top tips for that. How could you support people with that?
I wish I could tell you a secret sauce, but I don't know what it is. It is definitely my certainty. I just have rock solid, like I said, rock solid belief in our products and what they do. And I live the mission every single day. So every single day I'm sharing what we do. So we go to the gym in the mornings, you know, we cook the food from our JBT program. We have a good time as well. It's not all, you know, it's not all just healthy. There's got to be balance in there as well. We have a lot of fun along the way. But I think by sharing my story, and I look for clues in other people's health. That's probably another thing that I really do as well. Like I do so much connecting every day, and I know Tanya does this too because of where she's going and the success that she's having. It's all about looking for clues in other people's pain. So I have a friend today whose daughter's studying year 12. She needed the nutrition in her body to be able to deal with the rigours of studying year 12, and she kind of reached out to me. But then, you know, following up that and following up is really, really important with people if they've reached out to you for certain reasons, and following up likes on your posts. So if you post about the program or the products, see who's liked your posts and send them a message, not about anything but to say hi. I think that's another really important tip, is to be human first, to be human, and don't be a shop and don't be a seller, to be human and connect with other people and care about other people. So it's who can I help today, not who can I get as a customer, who can I help today that needs the benefits of what these products can do for them, and then just reach out from your heart.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And I was saying that
there is comment there.
I was just saying that to Pete tonight about, you know, like just commenting, sending a message to somebody who commented on his post and saying thanks so much for your support. So, you know, just some kind of connection.
Yeah. Connecting. And when you're posting about products, don't cut and paste and don't make it spammy, and don't make your Facebook page or however you do the connections look like an advertisement for Juice Plus. Just you make them about you and your story. That's really super important, because if people see the same thing they've seen from other people, they'll just scroll past it, and they just, you know, everyone's seen the picture of the beans' hands. Like, put yourself in the photos, put yourself in your posts.
Yeah.
Put yourself with your kids, your grandkids. Karen likes that one. Yeah, with your kids, your grandkids. You out doing stuff, you know, you're just doing stuff and making it part of your life, and share what you love about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. Love it. Yes, absolutely. So tell us about your challenges, because I know we all have challenges. Have you ever thought that you wouldn't make it or wanted to give up? Face down moments.
I've had plenty. I've had plenty. Karen's put it in the post for a change with the product. It works. Hey, Karen, that's awesome. I've never, ever wanted to give up. I've had moments where I think it's just too hard. You know, life was simpler when I was just a teacher, but it wasn't. It wasn't. I had a lot more pain in my life then than I have now. So some of the challenges, I guess, are around, as your team grows bigger, feeling like you are responsible for other people's success. That's a really big one. And you're not. Everyone here is a volunteer. Everyone came into this with their eyes wide open, or they were led to believe that this was something that wasn't. So try to keep team motivated and inspired and that kind of stuff. That's got to come from within. So letting go of that, I learnt that the hard way, and I learnt that quite early on. I do my business very differently now than I did when I first started, because I didn't have the skills. So learning the skills along the way, and when I've had challenges, or things haven't worked out the way that I had planned or had imagined, then it's just of me looking in the mirror and go, well, what do I need to do? What do I need to change? Who do I need to become to support this person? So constant self-reflection is really, really important. And then acting on that. What else is there? Leading by example. So there's nothing that I ever ask my team to do that I'm not prepared to do myself.
Love that.
And show them that's really important. Yeah.
Love that.
That's super important.
Yeah.
And if I ask them to do something, I do it first or at the same time. At the moment, I've got all my team. I did this awesome little exercise, and they had to, not they didn't have to, they were invited to write down 10 things that they love and they're grateful for this business. We had a bit of a coaching call around that as well, and it was about, why they actually said yes to this and what drives them every day to get up and show up for their business. And then they had to, I've got to lose that word. Then I invited them to, they shared, I was blessed, I was grateful that they shared with me their dream for what could be for them. And Joe gave me this gorgeous diary when we were at conference, and I've written my team's dreams in this little book, and I have that beside my bed when it gets up there, because it's down here getting their dreams in them. And I've lost track of where I was going with this.
I love that, though.
Yeah, I bless it before I go to sleep. But I was going down another path. Can you remind me where I was?
You were talking about
I know. Challenges, yes. And I do this. See, you don't have to be smart to do this, and you don't have to have a good memory. I'm like, especially as a girl.
Just take your omegas.
Yeah, I do. I need more. I need to double them up. So back to challenges. Growing into my leadership skills. So I'm not the person I was when I started this, for better or for worse, but I think I'm improving. I mentioned before about the challenges and about long-term friends. So sometimes that hurts. Like, it's funny though, when your friends aren't supporting you openly on Facebook, but when you see them in person, it's just the same as it's always been. So just always know that your long-term friends will support you. Maybe not openly, because they don't understand necessarily what we're doing, and they don't want to be labelled as one of those people. And if they comment on your posts, people might judge them because they don't have the mindset training around how to deal with that. So we have to be okay with that. I met up with a really good friend at the funeral that I was at last week, and same thing, like, she's a really long-term friend. She doesn't support me in my business, but when I saw her, big hug, and we just are tight as we've always been. So that's really cool. About mindset, always managing that. And if mindset's something that is a challenge for you, just really working on that, working on your self-development. Your morning rituals are really super important to me. I go by the sort of the pattern of the Miracle Morning. I don't know if you've read that one, but I'd really recommend that book and follow those principles. I think, yeah. So, and the mindset thing, everything that goes on in your head is a story that you're telling yourself. And half the time when someone says no to you, or they don't reply to a message, or, you've already made up this story that they don't want to do this, or they don't like me, or they're judging me, or I've annoyed them. And 90% of the time that's not even true. It's just a story that we've made up and we're telling ourselves. We did this awesome, Brinkley in our team last night, she went to a seminar on communication last week, and this lady had this awesome tip, and it was, imagine all the thoughts that are in your brain, and one that's really bothering you right now, and put it into a hand puppet, and then have it talk to you. So that person didn't reply to you because they are annoyed by you, and like, it just looks ridiculous. So take your thought into this hand puppet and practice doing that. And yeah, I think that's really cool. Yeah, there's so many challenges. I could go on and on and on, but the thing is about, don't let the challenges get in the way of you achieving your dreams is my biggest piece of advice, because we're all in this for our own reasons. For me, I'm in this because I want to I went to a seminar last year actually with Eric Warray, GoPro, and he did this activity, I don't know if you've seen it, that's we had to get a piece of paper and draw up a square, a grid of 80 squares, and then you had, which is the average age that people live these days, all things being equal, and then you had to cross off all the squares that you've already had. And for me last year, that was 54 out of the 80. My dad passed away when he was 76, and I looked at what I had left and I went, holy moly, like, you know, what am I going to do with the squares that are left? And I was so grateful that I'm in this industry, in this business, because I know that with the squares that are left, I can create them and design them exactly as I want them to be. So I'm in this business because I want to make the most of those squares I've got left, and that means ticking off things on my bucket list that I never thought that I would be able to with Greg. We went to Europe last year already, you know, I had a cruise with my mum last year, so I've left full-time work. We've got so many more plans that we really want to do. And the other huge one is our family. So I mentioned before that our family is so spread out. And last week, my mum rang me up to say that my auntie had passed away suddenly. And I didn't even have to think, can I get time off work? Can I afford to go down there? It was just jumped on a plane the next day, and I was in Tasmania like the next day. And I was down with mum for 6 days. My oldest daughter lives in Hobart. We drove down and visited her for a couple of days as a bonus. So that's my why. You know, wherever they are, whenever they need us, we can be there without having to think about it. And that's why. And the other one is that, I don't know if you know that you can leave this business in your will to your family. This is a legacy business.
We want to know
your
more
business.
About that. Yeah, we want to know more about that, please, Denise. I know there's been some questions around that. So, yeah, go for it. Tell us.
Okay, cool. And I didn't know this probably till 12 months into the journey as well. So the commission that you get, so the passive or the residual income, is a willable asset. So you can leave that, like I said, in your will to your kids. There are some rules around, are they willing to take on the business, like have the skills, and are they willing to take on the business for you? And if the answer is no, then there's a clause in there that allows them to get a payout on the work that you've previously done. So it can either be a finite amount at the time, or it can be a business that they can keep building and keep paying them and pay your grandchildren and great-grandchildren forever. And that's a huge part of my why as well, to make life better for them now and in the future.
That's massive. I love that. I know that there's a few, I know Tammy's just commented on that too, and I know Maxine was, there's a few of us that have been talking about it, so that's really good to know. Thanks, Denise. Also, so, you know, I know that for any of you that have questions for Denise, come off mute if you want to ask a question. I know that Maxine's got a question that she wants to ask you, so come off mute if you want to, Maxine. Don't be shy and just ask away.
Absolutely.
No, I better hurry up and ask, because we've been having lots of power cuts and I might just puff in a puff of smoke. So it's just interesting to me because I'm 54 as well, so we're the same age. And it's just a kind of a strange time for me because my girls have just moved out of home. You know, I've been a full-time mum for 20-something years, so I'm sort of like reinventing myself and kind of wondering who I am. And so I just wanted to ask you, what do you sort of see at this stage of life? What do you sort of see the strengths and qualities that we kind of bring to the business in a different way than, you know, some of the younger ones who've obviously got their brand and what they're doing? I suppose that's just what I'm trying to figure out now. What have I got to offer as an empty nester at this stage of my life, you know?
Oh my gosh, Maxine, I love this question because I am dealing with exactly the same thing. My kids have been gone longer, and you'll resonate with this, that as a mum, you want your kids to be independent, but for me, the notion of independence also comes with a sense of loss. And so you love watching your kids' journey, but you also pine for them and still want to be their mum. So it's a really confusing time of life. Part of my one of my goals is to have a holiday somewhere in the world with all of my kids, all my 3 kids, somewhere, it doesn't matter where. We've actually started that tradition this year. We went to Noosa for my youngest daughter's 21st birthday. But I was challenged so much with the notion that I actually booked in a call with Lindsay Badgenet, because she's very similar and she's very good around this. And she explained to me that there's independence and there's autonomy. So that kind of made things a lot more clear for me, because they can be autonomous and be on their own journey, but we're always interdependent. So even she explained, like even on this Zoom, we're dependent on someone else having created the technology to allow this to happen. And it is a whole new phase of your life that you don't have a roadmap for. So when the kids were little, you knew that they had to get dressed, so you knew they had to make school lunches, they had to be dropped to sport, but there's no roadmap for this part of your life. So it is a really challenging part. However, on the upside, which is really exciting, is it's your time now. So it's your time to be a little bit selfish. You've been there for everyone else. You've wiped all the noses, you've made all the lunches, and the kids are sorted, and now it's time for you to really come into your own with this business especially. And this is an awesome vehicle to enable you to go and do all the things you've wanted to do, but still be so free and flexible to be there for them when they need you.
Yeah, that's right. I suppose I find it kind of a weird time, because did you go through that where you're like almost like saying, who am I? What do I actually like? What do I enjoy? I've spent so many years focusing on others, and as part of finding your brand or whatever for how you're going to present your Juice Plus business, it's almost like I'm just kind of thinking, how do I do that? Because I'm still really doing kind of a bit of soul searching about who I really am.
Yeah. So Maxine, why do you do this business?
So exactly what you're saying. I want a legacy for my children. Seeing that there aren't very many squares left on the grid. Don't want to spend any of that time getting up to alarm clocks, going to shitty jobs, having to do anything I don't want to do. And travel, love traveling, want to travel a lot. But freedom, real freedom to be there when the grandkids come along. I want to be a grandma that's there all the time. Yeah.
So all of those things that you just said are the things that are going to attract the people that want those as well. So everything that I do on Facebook and when I'm out and about talking to people, I share that. That's what I want, When I was down with my mum, I shared that I was able to be there with her. And so it's just looking for people who resonate with you, because those young girls, they do an amazing job of attraction marketing, but that's them. So we're not trying to be someone else. We're trying to be ourselves, attract people who are like us. Basically, I find that my, what do they call it? When you tribe, it's a young person's word. That's why I can't remember it. I want to attract people just like me. Yeah. Who are at the same season in their life. I started doing something. It hasn't actually worked yet, but I haven't given up on it. Like, people in our age group, I guess, love getting handwritten things in the mail still. So I hand wrote 20 letters to 20 close friends, and I made a little video. It was only about 2 or 3 minutes about how I'm in the season that I'm in. And I actually mailed that to all of those people. I haven't had anyone say that they'd love to jump on the business yet, but I just think it's a way of finding a way to connect with people in a way that's authentic to you, and a way that still, here's Maxine, I don't know, and be open about that. Like, I don't know, I'm confused about this stage of my life, and I'm confused about where I am and who I am and my role as a mum, and I haven't quite found my thing yet, but I'm excited about that, and I'm excited about discovering myself and the journey and what's coming next. And I've got this amazing vehicle that's going to allow me to not have to get up to that shitty job and that alarm, and be with and be a present grandma. Like, really promote that stuff.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much for that, Denise. I 100% relate to that as well.
Yeah.
I know that's something that Pete and I have decided that, well, I don't know if it was both of us or whether it was just me, but that, I wanted to shout the kids to New York for Christmas next year, because, we both want to go spend New York and Christmas, and I just want to be with my kids. So I love your dream of, really having a holiday with your children, with your kids. Totally relate to it. It's great. So anyone else got any more questions for Denise while we've got her? I was going to see if you had any tips around attracting team and getting team, because I know that some of the people on here are challenged around that. So I thought that could be really helpful. Hi, Hazel. Nice to see you on here, honey. Hi, Kath. Hi, Orla. Hey, Tammy. Sorry, guys. I only just noticed.
Hey, everyone. Cool. Sarah's kids are coming to Gold Coast. That's kind of so cool. Yep.
Sorry, Denise, I wonder, do you advertise in cold markets very much?
No, I used to. But you open yourself up to, you know, all those neg ferrets who just don't deserve Juice Plus. And I find it's really time consuming as well. I have said that, that's how Joe found me. So I would never say never. But I think that might have changed. I think it's flooded now. And I think everyone's sort of doing that. For me, I'd far rather make genuine connections. And Teamsy, I have to say, has been really, really good for keeping me on track with that as well. But no, I don't advertise in cold markets anymore. I do a lot more of connecting in groups, you know, over 50s groups, and there's an empty nest group, which nearly all American people, and I think I've made one friend out of there who may join the business, but yeah, it's just finding ways to connect with people who you really want, to work with, really. Tanya, when you asked me this question about finding team, I had to kind of really think. So I did write a couple of things down. So as I said before to Maxine, be really clear who you want to work with and who you want to attract. And people that are looking for the same benefits what you are looking for. And they're the people that are going to really resonate with you and you're going to be fun to work with. It's kind of what I was saying to Maxine before. So I look for people who I've seen similar age to me, who looking like they either hate their job or they're really, really keen to retire. You know, they're always putting posts on about, oh, it's Friday again. I mean, yeah, it's Friday. Yeah, it's Friday. Oh, it's Monday again. Can't wait for the holidays, you know, all that sort of things, that they're just looking like they're getting towards the end of their working life and they're really not having much fun. I look for people who, you know, post about their parents. I've got a friend at the moment who's visiting family over in Croatia. So you can tell when people are really family people and would love to spend more time around their family and their grandkids. People who love to travel, asking them if they're looking to be able to afford more travel or go more places more often, or spending time with their partner. Someone might have lost their job in a situation like Greg did, so you know you might want to earn some more money so you can stay home with your partner as well. Can't read my writing here. People who are just going, like, they've been used to a certain level of living, a certain lifestyle, that 40-44 rule. So you work 40 hours for 40 years and then retire on 40% of your savings. And I hear stories all the time that, you know, pensioners are living on less than $500 a week and, you know, less than $50,000 a year, which is not much money. To live in that lifestyle that you've always worked really hard for, and then imagine when you retire you're going to be able to travel and do all those things you've been working so hard for, and you get there and you actually can't. So I look for people who are sort of in that kind of pain as well, and people who are just looking to collect more experiences and have more time with their family. So just really, when I say attracting team, I don't go hunting for team. I just always share from my heart and about the benefits. And when I'm inviting someone, I never copy and paste messages. I depends how long it's been since I've talked to them, but I do go on their page and see what they're up to. And then when I'm typing a message, I do it in my notes first so I can sort of adjust it without sending it straight in the messenger. And I make it really, really individual for each person. So I have that person in my mind, and as if I'm sitting here talking to them, and I just go in the zone and I make sure I'm in a really good mood when I do it, and I make sure I'm thinking about them, and then I send a message that's totally personal to them, and I think about, you know, why, you know, that I've noticed that they love travel or whatever it is about them that's really personal to them, and they just write an individual note and then do it in your notes first and then send it to them in a message, and just send it with love. And you have to be okay if they say no, and you have to be okay if they don't come back with it. And just share, you know, if it's someone that loves their family, share the fact that what you've been able to do with this business with them as well. I'll give you a real example from this afternoon if that would be helpful.
Great.
Let me just have a look. So this lady I've been talking to for quite a while, and I just kind of went in and said, I know we've talked about it previously, and I'm popping in to see if you're at a time in your life that you're ready to take a closer look at what we do, because she was, and then she wasn't, then she was, then she wasn't, and people's lives change, as we know. So she came back and she said, hi, Denise, I did give it a lot of thought, but I don't think so. I've been involved with a couple of similar companies and it's just not my thing, but I'm so happy to see you succeeding so well and enjoying it, which is the most important aspect. So in there's a couple of alarm bells. It's just not my thing, but I think it is, but she's just a bit scared. Once both boys move out, I may take another look. So once again, she's like just dipping a toe in and out. I'm in the middle of helping one set up his unit now. So she's in the similar pain that we were talking about with Maxine before, you know. She's on the edge of being an empty nester. Thanks for contacting me. I'll stay connected, looking in to see how you're doing. And then she asked about another girl in the team. So I used Feel, Felt, Found on her, with her. I know how you feel. I felt exactly the same when I first found this. It's just not my thing. I'm so glad I got out of my own way because life is just so different to what it would have been. I've just been down to visit my mum and my eldest daughter as a side bonus because she needed me. I didn't even have to give it a thought about whether I could go. Such an amazing feeling. What this does is create the freedom that I feel is just so important in our lives. I'm not telling you all of this to convince you, but just to plant the seed of what this could do, what if this could do the same for you. It's certainly a different time of life when the kids all leave home. I'm not a fan. Anyway, keep this in mind. The doorway will always be open. And then she came back with, I promise I'll keep it in mind. To be honest, I'm glad I haven't taken anything on extra as I was quite unwell, blah, blah, blah. And then she said, never say never. I may surprise you and contact you. So it's just always keeping the door open, always bringing it back to what it can be for them and keep those conversations going. This conversation's been going for a really long time, a really, really long time.
Yeah.
So it's really about building relationships and caring about them and just always keeping the light on for them and staying in touch with them and being in their life. Yeah.
And not focusing on the outcome, eh? And getting, totally stuck on the outcome. Yeah. Yeah. Great.
It's 100% about that. Like if you're stuck on the outcome, you won't come across as being all about them. You'll come across as desperate and you'll give out that energy that you're desperate to get them on your team, not to help them and not to, and just really enjoy the conversations that you're having. Like she's a really nice lady and I'm just really enjoying every time I get to stay in touch with her. It doesn't matter whether one day she joins my team or not. It really doesn't matter. It's just developing your skills in communicating with other people. And the person that you were before this business came along. We all used to talk to our friends. We all used to stay in touch with our friends and get on the phone and chat and catch up and just still be that person.
Yeah. Love this. I just had this conversation with someone the other day about that. Well, I would normally do this anyway, so it's just an extension of who I am. So, yeah, it's just being who you are. Yeah. Exactly that. Right. That's why you're having so much success too. Oh, thanks, Denise. Yeah. So you've got lovely role models like you. So anybody else got any questions for Denise? Go for it. Share away. We've got the Queen right here, guys. Well, I guess we don't have Linda, but we've got Denise. That's pretty good. I'm pretty happy about that. So it doesn't look like anybody's got any questions for you. But I just want to say thank you so much for joining us tonight, Denise. Your wisdom has been amazing. Hasn't she been amazing, guys? Yeah. 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 I hope you've all got some gold from this. Yeah, go. I just want to leave you with another couple of questions that you sent through about what I love about this. I love relationships. I love people. So I just love relationships. And if you love people and love being in relationships with other people, you're absolutely going to rock at this business. I would never stop doing this because you get to hang out with people like you guys and you get to hear other people's stories and be a part of their story and watch other people succeed. I love watching Tanya shine. She's just amazing. And you people are also lucky to be with her on this journey. And Pete, you're especially lucky. But,
Another question was, would I do this in 10 years' time? I don't think I could ever walk away from this, even if I didn't need to do it financially. I just am so addicted to what this is and the community and how much fun we have and when we get to go to conference. And I love the fact that our leaders like Linda, you know, like you said, it's the ultimate pay it forward business. And then you get to be the dream keeper for other people, and you get to share your experiences with other people and share the mistakes that you've made and try and help other people to, you know, get over those hurdles as well. And any single one of you, like seriously, you've got an amazing leader in Tanya, but I'm always happy for anyone to reach out and ask me anything, or if I can be of any service to anyone in any way, I'm very, very happy to do that.
I do have another question.
Awesome.
I have been attracting some quite cool people that I really like, and but at the moment I seem to get a little bit stuck in the catch-22 where they don't feel that they've got enough money to put up the franchise fee and all the money for the products, even though they'd really like to do it, and we get kind of, you know, trapped in that catch-22. So how do you deal with that one?
That is a really tricky one. There's a few ways you can do it. You can either just hold their hand and help them get some customers together before they sign their franchise up. So when they sign their franchise up, they're not forking out a lot of money for themselves. You know, they can just put a berry order in or whatever they can afford as well as their franchise. So just work with them to find a couple of customers to put in at the same time they put their franchise in. That's a really good way to do it. I'd also be having a conversation with them about if they can't afford, what's your franchise? 175, is that right?
Yeah.
172.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, if they're saying no to that, which is not a lot of money, I know people are really stretched sometimes, but what else are they saying no to in their lives that or what else are they spending money on? You look at their budget and go, what are you spending money on that doesn't serve your health or doesn't serve what this potentially can be for you? And maybe have that really honest conversation with them and see where they are spending the money. And if they're absolutely skint and they've got not one single wriggling room, 1 cent wriggling room, then go down that path of helping them find some customers before they actually sign up.
Right. Thank you.
Brilliant. Great. Well, thank you so much again, Denise, for your gold and your presence.
Absolutely. Lovely. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It was always a pleasure. So we'll see you all. I'm just going to stop recording.